Hello, namaste, and welcome to Candid Conversations presented to you by EdMonger. My name is Pragati, your host and founder of EdMonger. Today, we have another passionate and a wonderful Tedx speaker, Dr. Chandrashekhar, and he is CEO of JGI Group of Schools. So, we are going to cover the brand story of JGI with him. Welcome, sir. Welcome to Candid Conversations.
Thank you very much. And it's amazing to be a part of your forum, and I look forward for this interaction.
Great, sir. So, sir, since we are here to do a candid conversation, there will be a lot of things which we want to bring to the viewers. So, I would want to start the conversation by knowing your emotion on the very first day when you had joined JGI Group of Schools.
Well, I think it's actually quite some time now, 19 years to be precise, when I actually began this journey at JGI. But I think I don't have a very flashy story to share with you, because my involvement with JGI began even much before I took charge officially. What I mean to say is that when I was a student, when I was doing my graduation, that is when I started interning at the JGI with chairman and his office. So the involvement for me was from there itself. So in fact, I hardly used to find myself in the classroom. I was always in the office with him working. And then slowly but surely, I graduated, of course, from the college, but then I also graduated into full time working with the JGI institution. So my first day was a typical day at college, and that's how it got started. Yeah.
So it's like you had dreamt, or you had already decided in college that you are going to serve this institution. So it was nothing like a very new, but yes, then there you have understood the entire institution and entire group so well that you could do things easily and grasp on easily. So beautiful. But I know running an institution, or I will say a group of institutions like this, there will be a lot of challenges you must be facing, and especially after COVID, there must be so many things which have changed. So could you just share the biggest challenge which you feel when you are a part of a system like this, when you're running such a big group of institutions?
Well, I think challenges are part of life, and sometimes it is overrated as well. But I think to answer your question, the biggest challenge is to take everybody along and get work done. Because what happens is, when you are focused on the results, when you're focused on output, sometimes you tend to kind of overlook people around you. And I think balancing that in terms of taking care of people, being empathetic, listening to them, and moving with them, but also keeping them focused towards the final destination or the larger objective of serving the society. I think that fine balance is the real challenge. And I can give you n number of instances from my life where every time you call it a challenge or a hurdle is because the balance is upset. So you are trying to either handle people and take care of them emotionally, or you are focusing on your results and you're not trying to worry about the feelings. So balancing facts and feelings and keeping the whole balance intact is the biggest, I can say, demands of the current environment.
And to the viewers, I want to just tell you that you must go to Dr. Chandra's channel. He just gives quick tips all over. And today he has released another video, I guess, 16 harsh truths people do not tell you. Something like this, sir, right? So, and he tells you in a very quirky manner, and I just love the way he tells. So I just request all the viewers to go and just watch that kind of videos he uploads. So, moving to the next part of this conversation, I want to know, because I was going through the entire thing and I read about whole brain school. So I want to know the initiative that JGI Group of Schools is doing with the whole brain concept. What is that exactly?
Well, that is actually something which we did 5 years ago, and the main trigger there was my visit to Johannesburg, South Africa for the International Creativity Conference. So when I went there and I met with this gentleman, Dr. Kubus Neethling, so I understood that how science and neuroscience, to be precise, it can be brought into our classrooms. Let me tell you a simple way of introducing it. We all know that today's classrooms are restricted to 25 to 30 children, at least in majority of the schools. Some schools even take 40 children, but CBSE caps it at 40. Now, in a given class at any given time, you will have different kinds of learners. Like as a learner, I'm a visual learner. Okay, I enjoy looking at pictures and diagrams and moving pictures, all the better. Some people may not be like me. Some people believe in listening to instructions and then taking notes and then learning the language or the subject. Some people like to move around, do it, and then they kind of work on it. Right? So there are visual learners, there are auditory learners, there are kinesthetic learners, and there are many other kinds of learners. Right? So whole brain is a way to give the teacher the advantage to kind of broadly map the classroom into how many visual learners I have, how many auditory, how many kinesthetic, how many sensorial, and then design his or her lesson plan to cater to everybody's needs. We all know when we were growing up, some teachers were very favorite to us. We used to love their classes. But sometimes some teachers, although they're very good, well qualified, their the subject somehow does not connect to us. Why? Because the style matters. So if as a teacher, if I have something in my lecture for every kind of learner, then I am a effective learner, I am an effective teacher. So that is the whole concept of whole brain school. So map your students, get your lesson plan to cater to every kind of learner, and then go about your teaching learning process.
So correct me if I'm wrong. That isn't something which is something like a differentiated learning.
Well, I think differentiated learning, you differentiate students or learners on the basis of their capacity, right? So that is more like a output. So differentiated learning is mapping the learner at the output level, how much he or she is able to cope up with the subject. Okay, his level of understanding or her level of understanding, and then you say you have a slow learner, you have a medium, moderate learner, and then you have a fast learner or an above average learner. But in whole brain, it is not about mapping them at the end of the class, it is mapping them at the beginning itself, so that you are trying to make the effort of keeping everybody at one pace or at least progressing together rather than differentiating them between their ability to learn and understand things.
All right. So yeah, differentiated learning is kind of a mix because differentiation is done at three different levels. But I think whole brain system is about how you grasp, and then obviously once the learners will get the way they wanted to learn, the opportunity to learn in their own ways, they will be able to learn better, I guess. So beautiful
Absolutely. Just
question.
just to add to that, so that it will be easier. Differentiated learning cannot stand on its own without an effective remedial plan.
Yes, absolutely. That's actually the truth of the differentiation learning.
But a whole brain classroom does not depend on remedial plan.
So does it involve technology also in this case, that by using technology we are able to categorize the student, or there is a kind of psychometric test through which
Yeah,
we
I
are
mean, it is more of a psychometric test where you will be going through a particular profiling, and then depending on your answers, we kind of map your ability into 8 quadrants. We call it as L1, L2, L3, L4. That is the left brain, and R1, R2, R3, R4, which is the right. And then you kind of create a map, and that is given to the teacher so that her class profile, she has it right at the beginning, and then she keeps going it, and we do it eventually every 2 years, every 3 years, to also see where the preferences of the child is changing.
okay. Oh.
Yeah.
So I have another. I mean, I'm quite inquisitive about it. So I have another question to this. Do the teachers need to get trained over this kind of structure, or any teacher who's teaching, just they need a little bit of training on this, that okay, for visual learners you have to teach them like this, or for kinesthetic learner you have to teach them, or do they get another kind of training for the same?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. Very good question there. So, any teacher with a basic understanding of different styles of learners and how to cater your lesson plan to them would be able to do justice, no doubt about it. But again, as any other discipline, the more deeper you go, the better will be the results. So, there are trainings, there are books written on it, there are enough material for you to read and research. And if you can spend little extra time reading, researching, and also getting trained, then you'll be in a better position to kind of handle your class better. And one other thing I want to say, this cannot be restricted only to classroom. We use that even in our recruitments, because when people come to our recruitments and when we make them go through this brain profiling, we know what kind of a teacher, what kind of a person he or she is, and it helps us in kind of giving them additional responsibilities. They may be a subject teacher, but what is the additional responsibility this teacher can handle better? So that also is a part of our recruitment process.
Beautiful, sir. Beautiful. And I guess not just me or the through this channel, we would love to cover a blog post also for the same, so that it goes to many people and reaches out to people. They get to know, and the parents must enroll to a school or to a system like this. So, sir, as I have seen you speaking on TEDx platform, I have seen your lot of talks on YouTube also. I know you are good at speaking, and I know you're good at telling people, convincing people. So I have another, hypothetical situation here I'm going to place, and I would love to know your suggestion on that. Suppose I have an idea and I want to present it to a company or to business. What would be your suggestion that I should pitch in this way? Two suggestions from your side.
What is the idea? Will you be telling me the idea, or will I just
Okay, no,
tell you?
no, it's just a hypothetical situation that if I'm presenting my idea of business or product to someone, which are the two things I must include in my pitch or presentation? It's just the way you present it.
Well, I think it is first of all, if I were to present an idea to somebody for them to consider my idea, I think I am going to position my idea. The first thing, position my idea to solve their issue or solve their concern or fill in the blank. That is the most important, because today, in an attention seeking environment where all of us are having attention deficit, I am interested in you only when you can be interested in my problems. So that is the one thing. So if you have an idea, your idea should better fit into my scheme of things and you can solve something for me, then I'll be more interested. That is the first thing. The second thing, the second thing is, hide your idea and ask questions. Don't give up your idea. First, ask your questions, get to know people, understand where they are coming from, and then at a appropriate time, bring out your idea. So that, selling, remember this, selling is not about showcasing your product. People always buy people first, and then they buy from the people. So if I like you like me, in terms of the wavelength should match and there is some kind of a synergy, then I will be even listening to whatever you have to offer. But if that is not there, then I will not even go the next step. So people buy people first and then they buy from the people. So hide your idea first and get to know each other first. That's the second suggestion.
Great. So I really like the thing which you have said. In this digital world, we are just thinking that making followers or things is actually the way to crack it, but actually the thing is people like people first, and then actually they go for any product. And this is why this candid conversation is about the people who are working with the brand, the people who are working so hard day and night, so that everyone gets to know these people, everyone gets to know and connect with them, and then they should know about the brand also. Okay, so any day, where can I find you on a weekday after 6 p.m.?
At home.
So if I give you a time machine, where would you want to go?
I want to go back to my school, my childhood.
So power, fame, money, arrange them in an order you prefer.
Sorry, power?
Power, fame, money, arrange them in an order you prefer.
Well, I'll say first is money. The reason is I'm a firm believer that people should get a lot of money. Good people should have more money because they can do more good in the world. So money is number one. Okay. Number two is power, because with money and a reasonable amount of power, you can definitely affect change. And third is fame, and fame should not be your go-to place. Fame should be your consequence. So by doing your good work with the money and the power, let the fame follow.
Okay. So I have last question. One quote which I will say is being one sentence which you would convert as a quote by Dr. Chandrashekhar.
Well, my quote, which I keep saying, don't put your decisions on standby. Stand by your decisions.
Great. Great. Thank you for your time. Thank you, viewers, for your time. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed